Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good evening and welcome to the SSE Arena, Wembley, here in London, England, where tonight Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing is proud to present live on Sky Sports Box Office and DAZN an evening of world-class professional boxing. We're sponsored by Betfred, Lannistar, Wow Hydrate, and JD Sports. This bout is sanctioned under the auspices of the Commonwealth Boxing Council. The honorary secretary is Debbie Down. The supervisor is Dennis Gilmartin. Introducing your three judges scoring this contest from ringside. From Preston, Phil Edwards. From Liverpool, Mark Lyson. And from Watford, Bob Williams. Your timekeeper from Bromley is Mr. Bob Edgeworth. And at the sound of the bell, your third person in the ring from Barhead, A-star referee, Mr. Victor Laughlin. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing scheduled for the vacant Commonwealth Super Bantamweight Championship. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, standing with her head trainer, Sid Sadanki. She wears the white trunks with the gold trim. She scaled 8 stone, 7 pounds, 8 ounces. Her professional record thus far perfect, 3 fights, 3 victories. Here is the undefeated Southpaw fighting out.
Victor Laughlin is our referee. It's a 10-rounder, 2-minute round still for the women. I can see that changing one day in the not-too-distant future. And at stake, the inaugural Commonwealth Super Bantamweight bout. So here we go then with Amy Skelly in the white, or rather Carly Skelly in the white, Amy Timlin in the black. Skelly comes in as the big underdog here. She's 4-1 with the bookmakers here in London.
But a good start from Skelly so far. She's coming and getting low from her southpaw stance and really shooting that left hand to the chin. Has already landed twice.
Yeah, very positive start from the nurse in the Children's Hospital. Mum of 2 as well. Goes by the nickname of Thumper and only took up boxing at the age of 28. It's an extraordinary story in her own right, whereas, as you've already said, Amy Timlin, Andy, was kickboxing pretty much through her teenage years, so she's the one that's battle-hardened and tough, but Skelly, certainly no respecter of reputations the way she started this one.
No, a really bright start. She's come out and took the initiative from the start, and you can see what her game plan is. A step outside Timlin's left foot with her right foot and throw her right hand. I'm sorry, her left hand to the chin.
Timlin has been doing a lot of sparring with Natasha Jonas, the world-class southpaw, for this fight. But as you say, and it will be very interesting to see the feet and whether Timlin can keep that lead foot on the outside of Skelly. Don't want to get caught up inside.
Timlin needs to start jabbing and feinting and making Skelly think about coming in and closing the distance, because she's having it way too easy at the moment.
Very, very busy here, Carly Skelly. From the fighting city of Liverpool. She'll have the whole city behind her.
Took a good left hook there on the way in.
So, there's the first round in the record books. That's a nice wake-up call for both of them. This is the real thing now. Remember, these two promoted to the main card. overnight. A few moments ago, we saw the arrival of another young prospect that we think we're going to hear an awful lot of over the next few years, Ramla Ali. Another super bantamweight about to make her professional debut. Won a bunch of titles as an amateur, boxed in the World Championship a couple of years ago representing Somalia, the country of her birth. And a lot of interest in that fight. A lot of interest in this one as well.
Keep fainting, let her come in, let her do the meatless.
Round two then of this 10-rounder. Both these two with perfect records, no knockouts between them, and a very similar career trajectory. They've not boxed anybody with a winning record. They do have a common opponent in Claudia Ferenczi, the Slovakian. That was a nice, sharp right hand to end that exchange there from Timlin.
In the Timlin corner, they're asking her to step back and counter. But I think she needs to start moving to her left. She's getting caught far too often with the left-handed Skelly because she's standing too much with inside and getting caught with her foot inside of Skelly's right foot.
Got the lead off all wrong there as well, Timlin, and that allowed Skelly just to jump in on her. Yeah, again, just keep an eye on the footwork. As Andy says, Timlin's got to get that lead foot on the outside, otherwise Skelly's just going to be able to maneuver around.
When a southpaw fights an orthodox boxer, the feet often clash, but it's so important to the lead foot. Who can have the outside will have the advantage.
Timlin with a thumping body shot to end that exchange as well, and a little reaction there from Skelly.
It's been a recurrent theme we've seen with the female boxing, that they don't mess around. They're not afraid to get in there. And they actually trade. They actually trade a lot of the times more viciously than the men do, and there's no exception here. These two are trading really hard and looking to hurt each other.
Yeah, they went at it right from that first bell. There was no feeling out, getting any rangefinders going, and Skelly certainly was looking to land the big stuff. And Timlin, I think, is certainly backhand from Skelly. That was better again from the youngster. She's being pushed back here by the southpaw from Liverpool. Again here, Timlin, last few seconds of the round. The heads coming together a little bit there as well, which is can be a cause for concern.
Yeah, Skelly looking to rough up Timlin on the inside, and that was a much closer round. Some signs that Timlin started to make some adjustments, find her distance and take those little steps back. But I still think that was Skelly's round.
Well, it was a very, very positive start from Carly Skelly. As I say, comes in as the 4-1 underdog, but I think a lot of that is based on reputation as well, because both these two just so untested. But Timlin's the one that's been given a little bit of hype. Kieran Farrell is her trainer, a very, very good lightweight in his day, which wasn't so long ago, and he suffered brain damage in a fight against Anthony Crolla. And there were fears for his life. He can't box anymore, he can't spar anymore, but he's really making a lot of his life as a promoter, as a trainer and a manager. And he's looking after the career of Amy Timlin. Well, it's so interesting that Amy Timlin pre-fight was saying the aim here is set a fast pace and wear Carly Skelly down. But it's interesting that it was Skelly that looks like she's come out and set the early tempo.
Yeah, and really just trying to land that left hand, Skelly. But when doing so, she's leaving herself open to the left hook of Timlin, so she has to be careful of that.
Well, they really do fight in flurries, these two, and it is tough job for the judges here. I think that there's definitely accuracy issues for both of them. And there's Skelly looking for the counter. She did take her a left hand that she's open to, as you said, Andy. She took one going in, but again, very busy. Marking up a little bit around the right eye here, Skelly. She's doing a lot of feinting, Amy Timlin here, and Skelly not taking the bait.
Needs to find a way to avoid the left hand, Timlin. So far, she hasn't done that.
she's looking for that feint, and Skelly's not buying it. There's a lot more circumspect here. Nice little right hand in that exchange there from Skelly. Gets through with a couple of backhands there as well. A good little spell this for Carly Skelly.
She's picking her moments now. She's not being as gung-ho with her attacks. She's picking her moments and trying to set things up, trying to set up that left hand. Timlin should maybe try and take the initiative herself.
That was a nice right hand there. Nice counter from Timlin, and she's going to need to find some of these counters. A lovely little shot there, but Skelly's still busy. And that was a bit of quality there from Timlin. Oh, it's shaping up nicely, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, turn into a real interesting fight. Can Timlin find an answer for that left hand? Can she find a way to avoid it? Maybe she needs to be more assertive herself and try to set her pace, set her rhythm, instead of trying to be so responsive to Skelly.
It's coming back to here. Yeah, the one on the bucket, please.
Well, there's one of those left hooks that she takes, Skelly, from Timlin, which you've already alluded to. She is open to those. But then she's doing some work with the backhand of her own. It's a really fascinating start. Rama Ali making her way. I'm sure the butterflies are fluttering for her. Nothing like a pro debut. Andy Lee can't remember his pro debut. It was so long ago. Actually, it wasn't that long, was it? It's frightening how too quickly it flies by. Your career is gone before you know it sometimes.
Next thing you know, you're in the commentary box.
Yeah. Wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Let him go. Let it go.
Now, let's see if Skelly can continue to try and set this hot pace here, which I think has caught Timlin a little bit by surprise. Out of range there with the backhand. That was better. Absolutely no sense of a backward step here from Carly Skelly. She is just toe-to-toe trying to turn this into a bit of a brawl here.
Timlin's starting to adjust, figure out the rhythm of Skelly and landing much better counters now, getting her distance, taking that little step back and giving herself room to land those punches. Good right hand from Timlin there.
Yeah. There's still plenty coming through from Skelly, but yeah, there's another one. Land followed up with the right hand as well. Skelly took a two-punch combination really well, but she doesn't want to eat too many more of those. And there's a beautiful left to the body there from Timlin, who is showing a bit of quality here in this fourth round. The crash and bang is still coming from Carly Skelly, but the class is coming from Amy Timlin here in this fourth round.
What Skelly was doing so well in the first 2 rounds was that she was starting her attacks from a low position, and it was very hard for Timlin to counter. Now she's a little bit more upright, she's a little bit more predictable. This is still a real tough fight.
Let him go.
And the way these guys are exchanging, listen, it could go either way.
Yeah. This fight is knocking both of these two right out of the novice stage for good. A great combination again from Timlin. Slight concern for Timlin is that she's landed flush now and nothing seems to be bothering Skelly, who is still coming on strong at the end of that round.
A great finish to the round for Skelly, really roughed her up. And there was actually, I think there was a slight clash of heads with Timlin reacted to. And Skelly just kept on pounding away, kept throwing that left hand. She's found her home for that left hand all night. But better start from the round for tonight. I think that's Timlin's first round for me.
Yeah, I mean, that was a peach of a left hook to the body there. She picked some beautiful punches, certainly in the first half of that round. But then, as you say, Skelly came on really strongly in the last 30 seconds again.
Start low, go in, low.
It's a tough fight for both of these because it's so early in their career to step into a 10-round fight, title fight. You know, they're kind of learning as they go. This should have been, you know, in 10 fights time, they should be stepping into this type of fight against this type of competition. But now they're getting it this early. So in one way, it will benefit the winner hugely. And the loser can come again.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think it says it all that Amy Timlin came in with a record, a combined opponent's record, 26 wins, 118 defeats. And for Skelly, it was 23 wins, 84 defeats. Well, this is big league time for both of them now. They've stepped right out of that level. Again, another little nice counter from Timlin.
Yeah, she needs to feint and draw in Skelly and then hook when she does come in. The check hook, as Floyd Mayweather calls it.
Oh, that's nice.
Good exchange.
Good left hand there, but again, Skelly has absorbed it. Tough as they come, Carly Skelly. When you're working in a children's hospital and you're mother to a couple of boys, I think getting in a boxing ring's not going to bother you one little bit. She's tough.
I'm sure that's huge inspiration for her, and I'm sure she knows that they're all watching at home, and that's driving her on and probably just spurring this performance on.
We're coming up to the midway point of this one. It really is settling into a fascinating contest. And again, Timlin looking to pick Skelly off. As the Liverpool woman initiates another attack. She's having success with it, but so too is Skelly. She's having success with her bursts, and there she goes again.
Boxing well, when it's at range, Timlin's really boxing well like this, but when they get to the ropes, when you get her back to her rope, she needs to kind of keep her back off those, so when she gets her back to the rope, Skelly has her way.
They really are just trying to impose a style on each other here, aren't they? And neither of them is able to completely do it. As you say, Timlin wants to just have that bearded discipline, that space. Skelly, distance rather, not discipline. Skelly wants to get up close, and neither of them can do it consistently. Which makes for a fascinating little tear-up we got going on here.
Yeah, and another good round for Timlin there. She really starting to find her range a bit better. Starting to land the right hand. And that left hook, I think, is a good punch for her all night. If she can just set the feint, draw the lead of Skelly, she'll find a home for that left hand hook all night.
Right, so what we start working on that body now, we start making it.
And there goes again.
Right.
Go in low, you can't, it's this. Should we,
Yes, just stay in now.
you stay in, you've done your boxing bit now.
Right.
Start having a little tear up.
Right.
Start using it. Okay, this backhand, that backhand, you let it go. It's a hammer.
Yeah.
So I think a lot is going to come down to the two trainers in the second half of this one, because it's certainly up for grabs at the midway point which one of these trainers can make the necessary adjustments.
Yeah, it's a battle of styles and it's a battle of tactics. Skelly needs to get inside, walk her way forward, and land that left hand. Timlin needs to try and keep her distance, use her jab, use her feint to draw the leads and then counter.
Wasting a bit here, Timlin. Not got the rangefinders sorted out here at all. And then Skelly steps in, unloads, and this is where Skelly wants to do her work. And has some success with it. Already talked about the domestic super bantamweight scene and how that's starting to buzz. Mary Romero of Spain recently became European champion. And possibly the best at world level is the unbeaten Dane Dina Torsland, WBO champion at the moment. We've got Marcela Acuna, the tough as teak Argentinian, the IBF champ. I don't think either of these two are ready to be mixing it at the world level yet, but the thing is with the women, if you're good enough, those opportunities will come very, very early in your career. Oh, beautiful counter left again from Timlin, and again Skelly has taken it so well. Look at this. This is somersault coming back from Skelly. Oh, a really good round this.
This is a tough, punishing fight, and not a fight you'd see any fighter who's with a record of 4-0 and 3-0 going in against. What? It's to our benefit because we're getting to witness it.
Last few seconds out of this sixth round. Another fascinating round. Oh, that's a throw down from Timlin. All right, it's another round where they've both had some success. And they've both had things go wrong. No, I'm glad I'm not scoring this one because
Yeah.
this is a tough one to call.
That was a tough round to split them. Could even be a 10-10 round. If anything, you'll go with Timlin because you might have had the cleaner work.
So go. You see how many times you roll this?
Yeah.
You landed the shit.
We
But you
just
can
go
do
back to
that all
that.
the time. It's just,
Yeah.
and she's trying to throw. Just fuck her off. Just. He's done for it. But you're doing well, really well. That's it. That's basically the only shot. What happens every time you get close?
Can't even feel it.
I know. No.
Yeah.
I'm saying here, get out of here.
Yeah.
Fascinating listening to the corners. A lot of encouragement in the Skelly corner.
Yeah, it's always encouraging. That was slightly confusing though, because we were hearing the Skelly corner whilst looking at the Timlin corner. I was hearing that voice and thinking, Kieran Farrell doesn't sound like that. That's a proper Liverpool accent from Sid Solanke. Round 7 then. Well, this is where Skelly, you feel, is the more comfortable. As you said, Andy, Amy Timlin looking to keep it long, looking to pick her counters. Try and bring that backhand into play a little bit more there. She tried to land it there and missed. Missed again.
We talked about lack of experience in Skelly and that she started boxing late, but she showed some real veteran moves there on the inside,
Yeah.
holding with the blind hand and punching with the other hand.
Nice left hook coming in from Skelly. I mean, it is unusual that somebody at the age of 28 takes this sport up with no background at all.
But she must have had some promise, because she reached a national championship here in England. She reached the final, and you know that was quite an achievement.
Nice again. Oh, she's
As you
keeping
can see,
busy.
she's roughing her up on the inside.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
This will be sapping the energy of Timlin and also demoralising her. But it's now at these when they're in the centre of the ring and at distance, Timlin should be using these moments and taking advantage of them and getting her punches off. Because all of this stuff on the inside, when they're fighting and scrapping like this, it's energy sapping and it's also punishing.
Tell you, Carly Skelly is pouring it on here. I think the concern for Timlin, who did land a left hook again there, but Timlin has landed flush so often and nothing has discouraged Skelly. She keeps coming forward, keeps finding scoring punches, keeping herself in it, and it's Timlin that's looking the more uncomfortable of the two here.
A huge amount of desire being shown by Carly Skelly here.
Really? Well,
That was a big round for her,
Yeah.
in my book, because to me she'd lost the previous 3 rounds.
Yeah. You're gonna do it. Before your left foot's the body, yeah? Then go to the other side. The hand side, top roll there, top there, the other side.
I tell you, this is a really good fight as well. Yeah, Kieran Farrell's got some work to do here.
She's open, she's like this, yeah? It's all open there. You get her with the right with the body there. Just don't throw it from out too far outside, sister, yeah? You've got the inside to throw it, and the uppercut will work inside. The body shot's inside there, but you've got to keep your head down there. And when she's holding you, don't fucking look at the referee.
Well, asking for work on the inside, if I was in the corner, I'd be saying, box at range. Take your opportunities and fight it. Get your punches off when you're standing at distance.
10 seconds.
But that was a big round for Skelly, and as I said, it could be a turning point in the fight because she put in a big effort, but it paid off. Up to that round, I had her losing the previous 3 rounds.
Well,
And like you said, Nick, it's Timlin who looks to be withering a little bit.
yeah, she was the one that looked a little bit uncomfortable in that 7th round. I mean, for me, and I don't know how your card is looking, I'm sure you've got it close as well. This has come down to a 3-round shootout for me. Who's going to finish this the stronger? Can Skelly keep up this terrific tempo that she's set right from the get-go? And if Timlin thought she was going to come into this and wear Skelly down and maybe get a late stoppage as Skelly gassed, I don't think that's happening. That's not going to. That's not coming. Skelly looking just to pick the moment there, and she went back down into that crouch stance again briefly. And she, a tactic that she adopted in that first round to such good effect. First off again. And she's forcing Timlin just to react.
Work the body inside. Go straight on the outside, go again. Step in with a free straight.
It's now in these moments when Timlin should be trying to work. But she's giving, even though Skelly's putting in a big effort, she's giving her breaks. She's allowing her to get rests when they're on the outside.
It's one of those intangibles in boxing. Who is setting the tempo? It's Skelly, clearly.
Yeah. And she's being afforded breaks too in these type of moments, as you can see, where there's no action. It should be now Timlin should be trying to take advantage of these moments, but she's not. She's letting Skelly have a break, have a rest, recuperate, and then before you know it, Skelly will be coming in for a big finish to the round, just like that.
Is Timlin tiring, do you think?
I think so. I think all of this roughhousing on the inside fight and holding and hitting takes its toll. Really wears you down when you're not used to that type of a fight. Look at her in the corner. She looks the happier fighter.
I tell you, the body language is very, very significant. And it's really been since the midway point there. She's getting through with a couple of lefts again. That backhand coming into play. Timlin is having success, but there's so much coming from Skelly. A couple of solid thumping left hooks from Thumper. What a great nickname for a boxer. Simple, but boy, that sums up Carly Skelly.
Yeah? When she's resting, you've got to fucking work, yeah?
Yeah, and Kieran Farrell's picked up on that as well. If she's resting, you've got to work, and she didn't then.
Yeah.
She's there looking at you like that.
When you go in life, it's working.
Right.
What she's doing, she's stopping you then, and you're stopping. You just stand in front of her.
Keep going, yeah.
Just keep trying to find those little angles. Vicious, if she holds you, be vicious.
Yeah.
Right? And just keep doing it.
Corners, 10 seconds. Second out, round 9.
Round 9 then of what has been a terrific scrap for the Commonwealth Super Bantamweight title. A belt that has never been owned before. It's going to have a worthy first winner. Or will it be Amy Timlin, who came in as the big betting favourite, or will it be Carly Skelly, Thumper from Liverpool? Oh, Thumper just took a thump there. And a good, nice work again from Timlin. The left to the body to finish that exchange. This is better from Timlin. And she keeps Skelly in her place.
For a young fighter like Timlin, it's so demoralising. You just had on the two of your best punches of the fight, and back comes your opponent throwing a left hand and land one on her own.
And that happened early in the fight as well. Do you remember that two-punch combination that she landed? Flush. Skelly just absorbed them and just came back looking for more.
If Timlin can compose herself now in these final 2 rounds, there is a chance she might land a really telling punch, catching Skelly on the way in, because Skelly's quite reckless with her attacks, and she's leaving herself open. And if Timlin can time it, catch Skelly while Skelly's punching, she might score a knockdown, and that could be decided. Big moment in the fight.
Maker. Yeah, you're right. Better from Timlin. Skelly still piling forward, pouring the pressure on. A solid jab there. I haven't seen much of that from Skelly.
Big left hand from Skelly at the end.
Yeah. Timlin's feeling it again. And both being urged on. It is one of those fights, every second counts now. You've got a chance to make an impression in what is surely a very, very close fight. It's the little things that can make the difference here. That's another one of those rounds which is... And there's been a lot of them. I'm thinking of the 3 scoring judges now. I'm letting you off the hook here, Andy, but so many of these rounds have been what you like. What do you like?
Really close rounds. Personally, and it's not an official, doesn't really matter. I've got Skelly ahead by 1. But on the official scorecards, could all be riding on this round.
Yeah. Be busy with her, but look for that right hand. You'll catch her and you'll knock her eyes out, yeah?
Brilliant fight. Thanks, mate. Okay? So we're going to stay there. We're not going to stop punching.
No.
Up, down, turn, bang, we're going first.
Yeah.
Timlin's up early.
Watching brilliant.
Corners, 10 seconds.
Well, like you said earlier, Andy, the winner is guaranteed a good night and a big future. But I don't think there's going to be a loser here. These two have acquitted themselves brilliantly. No. Could all come down to this last round, couldn't it? Timlin getting drawn into a tear-up. I think they both know, and they've both been told it's got to be a big finish. They started fast, they're finishing fast, and they barely drew breath in the intervening rounds. Skelly loading up with the shots there. She does look such a formidable inside fighter, doesn't she, Skelly? She's dragged Timlin into a right old street fight here.
Big left hand from Skelly there.
Again, digging in, and being told, urged on, and Skelly is making a dent here on Amy Timlin. Another beauty to the body. Absolute wicked-looking body shot from Skelly, and Timlin took it, but she's feeling this. She's feeling this, Amy Timlin. She is desperate to hear this bell. Skelly again, getting in first, getting the body shots away, getting the pressure on. A 7-1 on favourite against a 4-1 outsider. This fight has never been remotely close to what the bookies saw it being.
You know what's made the difference and made it so close is the tactics of Skelly. They've been perfect. Staying low in the crouch, high defense, and throwing that left hand.
Oh, nice little spell there from Timlin. She left it too late. Last few seconds. It's charge time now. Whatever's left in the tank, empty it out. That'll do it. Oh. Somebody somewhere is still saying women's boxing, nah, they can't fight. Go watch that.
You can't argue with that. That's as competitive, as entertaining, and as skillful as any male contest you will see.
Exactly. I got Carly Skelly winning this.
The last round was so tight.
Yeah.
So tight.
Yeah, it was.
It could be a draw. 10-round fight.
Close.
Could be a draw. But a huge effort from both women, and fantastic desire showed, skill showed, passion.
I just hope all three cards reflect that this was a really close fight, because it was. They both won rounds. What you don't want to be hearing is 99-91s, because it wasn't that kind of fight. And Timlin showed a lot of courage in adversity there as well, because there were 2 or 3 times I thought she's really feeling this, and she dug in and dug in. But Carly Skelly, as I say, came in as the big underdog, and this was some performance from her. And as you say, it all could come down to this last round.
She was always getting low. When she started her attacks low, Skelly, she had success. Timlin was never able to make the adjustment to either take a little step back or to lower herself.
Absolutely terrific little scrap, that. Really good. And it's going to go down to the cards. Somebody's going to be disappointed unless, Andy, as you say, there is an argument that it could be a draw, this one. The 3 judges ringside are Phil Edwards, Mark Lyson and Bob Williams. 3 very experienced and well-known British judges. Well, these 2 can forget the 4- and 6-round stuff from now on. They're big league, both of them. I don't think this is the last time we'll be seeing them on a major stage either. But who is going to be crowned Commonwealth champion? These are the worst moments, especially when you really can't be certain when you're a fighter, because you can't be certain. Neither of them can sit here saying, yeah, that's mine, I won it.
But to look at them, Skelly thinks she's won it.
Yeah.
Timlin not so sure.
Yeah. But has she, though? Has Skelly won it? Will she be taking that Commonwealth belt onto the ward at the Alder Hey Children's Hospital in Liverpool? Let's find out.
Boxing fans, after 10 rounds of action, we go to the judges' score totals. Bob Williams, 96-95, Timlin. Phil Edwards, 97-96, Skelly. Judge Mark Lyson scores this bout 95-95. We have a split draw.
There you go. As called by Andy Lee. And you know what? I'm not sure we could really argue about that. It was so close.
So close, so close. deserves a rematch.
Oh, we'll be seeing that.
I would watch that every week. Fantastic fight.
And I'll tell you what, there's no way they won't be keeping that on the main show either. If there's a rematch for this one, bring it on.
I think it was a just outcome. Skelly put in a tremendous effort, and even though it's a draw, it's a moral victory for her, I think.
Oh, definitely.
But Timlin will improve.
Yep.
And if they do have a rematch, you'd likely see Timlin win it much wider.
Well, she'll learn a lot from it, but Skelly, as you say, will have taken so much out of it as well, coming in as the huge underdog. I had Skelly winning it 96-94, but so many tight rounds that all you really wanted was to hear very, very close cards, and you can't get closer than what we had here. 97-96, 96-95, and a 95-95. Draws the right result. And that was a tough old battle for Amy Timlin, and I tell you what, the 20-year-old showed some real grit and toughness, because that was some pretty heavy going on one or two occasions.
I'm sure it's mixed emotions for the two of you if you stand here and don't know what to feel. Come to you first, Amy. When you hear that split draw, what was your reaction?
Obviously it was heartbreaking because I've trained so hard for it, but you can't really fault the result because it was a close fight. And I thought I won some rounds, she won some rounds, so I think it was a fair decision.
And same question to you, Carly. As you're waiting there, it must be horrific wait to hear the cards. When you hear them come out, first one to Amy and then you hear the second one, what are you thinking?
Yeah, the same. It's frustrating. I thought I could have said it was quite close earlier on. I thought it'd come on strong at the end. So, but it's hard to say. I'll have to watch it back and see what I think. But I thought I've done enough. But do you know what? Just being here tonight is the best opportunity for both of us. So hopefully we'll get to do it again, and then we'll get to decide it on the next one.
Yeah, Amy, do you echo that? It's been a massive step up for both of you in terms of platform. Would you be open